The first way is you can open up your Pathfinder. We've all used Pathfinder before. Mine's open somewhere. There it is. And you can actually select your shapes and use the Pathfinder that way as well. Here's an even easier way. There's a tool, the Shape Builder tool, if you haven't used it before, allows you to quickly create shapes with it. So now, if you select a shape, if I scroll over it, it's going to highlight that particular shape. And actually, if I click and drag, it will combine multiple shapes into one shape. If I hold down my Option key, check out my cursor. Option will subtract. So now I can click on an area and actually quickly subtract away that particular area. Question?
Can you do that again?
Just hold down Alt. And when you hold down Alt, it'll go into subtraction mode. And wherever you click, that's what will delete itself away. So the same way for the B. Obviously the B was two half circles on top of each other and the lines. So if I took, let's just delete this away. One circle, we'll copy it. If I wanted to subtract away that area, I'm going to use Shape Builder tool. Hold down Option. Actually select both of them. Hold down Option, and that area will go away as well. Pretty cool? So that's one way of quickly adding shapes together, subtracting them away. And you can see how each one, once they overlap, you can create your own little variety of shapes for your letters. Pretty cool? Here's the second way of thinking about it. It doesn't all have to be one solid color. You can use multiple shapes and have them interact with each other in a variety of different colors. So F, G, H, each one of these creates their own unique forms by themselves. The last way you can think about it is to take each of your shapes and adjust the transparency or adjust their blending mode. And these will create unique shapes inside of each other from there. Pretty neat. Final thing, let's see. So, you've taken all of your pictures. Let's see if I can get some good ones. Come on. Okay, so maybe there's a square, S-curve, bar, another bar, triangle, square. All of these you can work with. Let's try this one first. I'm going to drag it into Illustrator. Oops, I didn't mean that bridge. Cancel. There's Illustrator. When you open it up in Illustrator, notice that it's going to be a very large image, especially if you took it with one of my cameras. Yours may be a little bit smaller, but it's a good resolution. What's the quickest way of vectorizing something in Illustrator? Image trace. So I've got my image selected. At the very top, I'll choose Image Trace. It may give you a warning saying, hey, this is a really large image. It's going to take a little bit of time. Just say OK. It usually doesn't take much time at all. And if you've got a good contrast, this is what you will come up with. So it'd be a nice black and white type image. You can play around with how your image looks. At the very top left, here's your image trace options. And here they are over here. The main thing to play around with would be your threshold. So if I bring the number up higher, we'll give it just a second, my image will get a little bit darker. If I make my image lower, threshold lower, it'll get a little bit lighter. So you may want to find a balance between the light and dark of your image to pull out the necessary details. Notice that I get these nice reflections within the chord when I make it lower from there. All cool with that? Alright, here's the second thing. So I've got it vectorized. Once you're done, make sure you hit expand so you can expand it out and actually see the individual points. The last thing you're going to need to do is to delete away your background. So I don't really need the white areas that I'm working with. Here's the quick and easiest way of doing that. Use your white arrow, select a white area, so only the white is selected. Now if I hit delete now, it'll delete away my background, but I'm left with all these white areas that are on the inside. So I need to delete each one of those away. If I did this, it would take forever to select all the small things. Here's the fastest way. Select a white area. Go up to Select, the same fill color. The fill color I had selected was white, so all the white areas are now selected, and I can just delete them away in one delete. Pretty cool? All the times, yeah, that you need to do it. That's the quickest way of doing that. I can then save that as a separate thing as well. Let's do another one. I'll do one this time with a black background to it. And let's do the square. That'll make it easy. So with this one, drag it into Illustrator. It's going to be very big. No worries. We'll just shrink it down. I've got my image selected. Go to Image Trace. Say OK. Since this one's nice and black and white, so I've got a great square image to work with, I'll go ahead and expand it. Now for this one, I need to get rid of the black area and I need to keep the white area. So I need to be careful to not erase away my white. If I just erase the background, it would look like this. So I'm actually going to select my white and just make it a different color. Fair warning, sometimes if you try to make it a color, it'll go straight grayscale. In this case, it's all gray. We're going to put this into another document. So if it's gray, totally okay, totally okay. I'm just trying to get rid of the white or the background area that I'm working with from here. You can make it black from now too if you want. Oops. There we go. Let's do one more. Let's see if I can get one that's going to be troublesome. Well, let's do. Yeah, that one looks troublesome. All right, so I've got this entire group. Image trace it. Say OK. Dun, 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 dun. I can play around with my lights and darks, but you can see I get this particular image. Actually, let's make it a little bit lighter, see what happens. Okay, so now I'm getting a few more of them. We'll expand it. And let's make all of the white areas gray. So I've got that selected. We can select the same fill color. We'll turn those gray. All cool. I can delete away the black areas. Select the same fill color. Delete those away. If you need to cut this, so let's say I don't like the way the top looks or I want to get rid of the bottom area. There's a couple of tools that you can use to cut your image and make it look perfect. The first one is the eraser tool. The eraser works kind of like a brush tool or the brush eraser does in Photoshop. I would suggest selecting your object, so we'll select it. Then you just click and drag over the area. And when you're finished, it will re-vectorize. It'll clean up those areas. Make sure you've got some little spots that maybe stray. That's one way of doing it. So if you need to clean up an area, use your eraser tool. It'd be one quick way of doing it. Another way, if you need to just straight cut something off of it. Underneath here, the knife tool would be your best one. With the knife tool, I'll deselect it. When a knife cuts you in half. Let's see, you can click and drag a line through something and it's going to cut whatever you had selected into two different areas. So now, let's see, if I choose this, I can ungroup it and I can move them across from there. So it's nice and clean cut with that. So as far as cleaning up your edges, use your eraser tool, use your knife tool. That will help you get those two together. What I would do, make a new document that's tabloid sized. So all of your letters need to fit on this one document. You only have to do the uppercase, you don't have to do numbers, you don't have to do lowercase. All of them on there. I would copy and paste each one of your shapes onto this new document. So copy that. And I would actually paste them off to the side. Where is my new one? Got too many documents open. There we go. Paste them off to the side. You can group them all together, and as you need them, you can copy them over and start to use them and move them around when you build out your numbers, or excuse me, your letters. Cool?
So is everyone doing a different set of letters, or is our team doing?
Nope. Everybody does their own set of letters. Yeah. As a team, you work to make the shapes. Now, individually, I want you to make your own alphabet from the shapes that you created. Cool? Alrighty, so that's what we're doing for the rest of the time. I'll be walking around giving y'all suggestions on things to do.